Future Africa. Sorry. Can I go?
Sorry, let me turn off. Are you going back now?
Yes, 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 yes.
Telling that it's coming up.
Like 5 minutes.
Sorry, was stressing you.
No, it's fine. I would have loved if music was playing though, but yeah.
Oh, let me. We never go to Java. Hi. We're bringing you up in. We're bringing you up in 3 minutes. Thank you. I'm bringing you.
Okay, so we apologize for the delay, but we are kickstarting the program now. I would love your full attention, please. Thank you so much. I'm pretty sure that most of us are here because of a particular brand, which is THU, right? So this is just one of our numerous events that we do in a year, right? And this is called Talent Perk Series, powered by THU. I'm sure most of us here are very familiar with THU, right? How many of us are familiar with THU? I see no hands up. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Are you hearing THU for the first time? You're familiar or not? Okay. So I know that majority of us here were not invited by THU, but like one of our partners, which is fine. So we're going to do a brief introduction of our partners for this event, and then we just kickstart. Don't worry, we have an amazing evening tonight. There's something interesting happening at the end of this event, which I'm very sure that people will be very, very, very interested in. So let's just start, right? I'm sure everyone can see me here. So now for the benefit of those of us that are not very familiar with THU, THU is a global productivity partner, right? They are experts at providing exceptional talent and solutions that power your business. One of the global leading HR firms in the world, if we do say so ourselves, right? And our core services include staffing, recruitment, which most of us might know us for, right? Recruitment, outsourcing, technology, talent development, and background checks, right? So those are our core services that we run as a company. And we are not just limited to that, right? We have an initiative of a very global community that we are leading, which I'm pretty sure that most of us here are a part of, right? So our aim is to build like a global community where we can bridge the gap between our talents and our clients, introducing them to exciting job opportunities and lifestyle opportunities such as this. And we have partnered with a very amazing company, which is Savetown. We're going to be hearing about them pretty soon. Now, Savetown is a digital housing finance solution that streamlines the process of home ownership in Nigeria. So they have looked at the real estate industry in Nigeria and they've thought of a way to streamline the process of home ownership so you can actually save towards having your own home here in Nigeria without breaking the bank. You don't have to like pay for mortgage where you pay for practically half of your life. So Savetown has already, demystified that process where you can pay quarterly, monthly, weekly, customized payment saving model for you to own a home. So we have the CEO of Savetown here tonight with us, and we are going to be bringing it up pretty shortly. But before we move on to that, we are going to bring up one of our partners. He's the managing partner for Future Africa. He's just going to share his experience with us with Savetown, and then we'll bring up the CEO of Savetown so he can tell us more about Savetown, which is why we are here basically. So THCO has identified a gap, and we want to bridge that gap as much as possible. Bringing lifestyle opportunities to members of our community, right? Apart from recruitment and all of the core services that we do. And if you're attending one of our events for the first time, we welcome you. This is something that we do periodically. We've done amazing events this year, and this is just one of the events that we're doing to round up the year. We have one more event happening in Philippines, right? Something like this. And we just want to implore you to be a part of the community as much as possible. 2024, we have amazing things in store for you guys. So as much as possible, just keep in touch, right? And then you can, look at us sitting down here. How many of us know our fellow neighbors sitting down beside us? No, we don't. So this is like an amazing networking opportunity for you, right? Rather than sleeping and watching movies tonight, we'll be taking some of your nights. We'll be taking some of your nights subsequently, right? And you just come here, gather together. Today we are taking you guys on a tour of home ownership, housing real estate. The next event might be about something else. We won't tell you. That's why you need to keep in touch with us. All right. So in a couple of minutes, we're going to play a video of Mr. Inyolua Aboyeji, the managing partner of Future Africa. Yes, he's joining live. Oh, I think I see him on live right now. So he's just going to share his experience with us while we go ahead. Please, sir, over to you. Please, we can't hear him. Sir, did I do well? Take care.
great job. I love it. I love it. It's connected to this.
Yes.
See? See? It's working now.
He's working. I don't know. Where is the other microphone?
Okay. So in addition to everything, I just wanted to share my thoughts, really about, I don't know how much context you have, but about what we're doing here today, which is really talking about home ownership in Nigeria. So I think for me, there's some really cool videos I hope to show you that we talked about, myself and Uncle Tony. But for me, home ownership has been one of those things that prior to, I would say, 5 years ago, I thought it was like a pipe dream, particularly because of my taste. an artist as a group. Um, you know, when I was younger, I actually did watch my dad buy his first property, and it was really an interesting experience for me to see. Right, he wasn't rich or wasn't involved from a family, but we scraped together the money. At first, I'm hearing echo, so stop.
I think Michael has to mute his mic. Michael should be mute.
The laptop.
Yeah, but I'll try anyway. We we bought they bought land. Unfortunately for him, the land was um, the land ended up being fake. The documents were fake. It was so fake land. He ended up talking to the landowner and convincing the landowner to basically share the land with him. But that was kind of the wild west, and it does represent sort of what the experience of building looked like back in the day. So when I was trying to buy my own house, I really had to plan. I think that was one of the key things that I realized was that I really had to plan. It wasn't going to be something that would just happen by accident or something that would happen wishy-washy. I had to like really sit down, ask myself, what did I want in a home? How did I want the home to work? What did I want out of the home? And I was really lucky because I was able to get a really good advisor to help me. At first, the first thing was finding a home, right? I wanted to live in Yaba. That was one thing I knew. I didn't want to buy a house on the island, and I didn't want to live in the boonies, like I like to call it. I wanted a home that was close to central area, and so I looked for a bunch of interesting developments. I had an agent help me, but ultimately I didn't find anything I liked. And then it turns out that one of my friends came to me and said he was thinking about building a home in Yaba as well. And there were a group of other young people who wanted to do the same. And so he then was the one who actually pulled all of us together. But it was very interesting kind of going through the process because what I had to do, well, at first I tried to also work on a mortgage, and then the interest rates were so crazy that I realized it was not a good option for me because I would end up paying about 2-3 times the price of the land. I think at one time, before I settled on my actual house, I had buckled and tried to buy something in the new. And basically, I was shown pepper because even the land itself wasn't titled properly. It still belonged to the O'Neill family, so nobody wanted to lend to me. And then even when I could figure that out, the interest rates were just crazy. So what I ended up doing was joining with a bunch of my friends and and basically saving some money together. And then we started to build the house. And now we moved into the house last year in January. And it took us about three years through COVID to build the house. And I think we built a house where all of us were able to share the bills amongst each other. It's a walking distance from Macaulay Way. It's fairly vibey area, and it's really what we liked, right? Each person obviously got the opportunity to cut their surround their internal that to craft their finishing as they wanted, and it was this that got me really thinking about youth and home ownership. Many of us may not be thinking about home ownership, maybe because we think we're going to Japa, or we think that there's no need for anybody to think about home ownership. But I want to assure us that it's not ultimately, if you're going to create sustainable generational wealth for your family, it's going to start with your home and your ability to actually buy a home for yourself. But again, in a country where inflation is up and down, quality is dubious, you're not very sure whether you can pay for a home and it will collapse, or like many of the people that are experiencing today, you pay for a home and the developer starts telling you stories upon stories upon stories. You quickly realize that it's a very precarious time for a young person who wants to own a home and they didn't steal money, so they can't put it down like that. So I think that's why I really identify with the idea behind Savetown, which I'm sure they'll tell you about it. You know, the beauty of the Savetown platform is that it takes a lot of the risk out of the home ownership process. From your money with developers, you don't have to pay to developers. You pay into a trust that has a bank account. From to the quality of build, you can be sure that very much like the building that you're in right now, the people who are building this are world class and they know what they're doing. Um, you know that you can be very rest assured that what you get is what you love on delivery, and what you ask for. And most importantly, you can still do this with your friends. You get to actually do this together with your friends and not in a faraway development complex, faraway in Awoyaya or something like that. But it's actually possible if you build up, build a tower, and you can actually get a really decent apartment that is worth something. So anyway, just as I was asked to, I'm just sharing my own story. I'm sure the team will tell you more about Savetown, and hopefully I can come by and talk to you about it. But I think there's something that Uncle Tony always says that strikes me, and he says that when you own a piece of your country, you tend to think long term about it. And I think that's something that is emblematic of what our generation is facing. Many of us, like, we're kind of built in because not many of us actually own something here. And I think that if more of us started to own more of the country, particularly when it comes to land, we'll actually be thinking differently about long term prospects. So I don't know. I'm going to stop talking here. So I don't over talk and bore you all. Thank you very much for the audience.
Thank you very
So
much. Yes, thank you very much, sir, for your contribution. So we have the CEO of Savetown right here with us, and we're just going to engage him pretty quickly. Good evening, sir. How are you doing? Okay, so we'd like you to introduce yourself and then tell us a bit more about Savetown.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Anthony Ihe. I'm the mythical character. E refers to as Uncle Tony, and the whole of Satan. They choose to call me Uncle Tony, but please call me Tony. So that's who I am.
Please, I need a second microphone here so that we don't share. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I already did a brief introduction on Savetown. Okay, yes. So I already did a brief introduction on Savetown, but from the horse's mouth, can you please tell us what Savetown is about? That's why we're here.
All right. Can I tell?
No, we can't hear anything.
Uh-huh. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay. We're muted. Can someone unmute us? Can you hear us now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay.
You said your name is Anthony. I didn't get your other name.
My last name is Aihie. It's spelled Aihie. It has a lot of vowels. So, yeah, you'll need some training to be able to pronounce it. But my name is Tony Aihie. So just call me Tony.
Yes, I get that. I can pronounce it actually. It sounds Edo. I hear. So it's all right.
She has a
My name
right. Yes, that's all right. Thank you. So, good evening those online as well. Um, Thank you. Thank you. So I've been told to tell us about Savetown, but I would appreciate it if I can give you a little bit of background.
No, that's fine.
Okay, let me give a little bit of background and why Savetown came about. Um, so I'm trained as an architect, right? And I've been designing and building for the last 23 years, since 2000, right? So I founded a company called Design Union. You may know Design Union, you may not know Design Union. We are actually not very, I don't want to be disrespectful to other companies, but we're not very loud, right? We don't make a lot of noise. So not many people know Design Union, right? But we've been building consistently for 23 years, and we're probably, we're probably the top Nigerian company when it comes to construction and real estate. I say probably because we don't want to be disrespectful to anybody. For example, this building that you are in was actually built and furnished by us. This flat that you're in was crafted and put together by all Nigerians. This flat that you are in, most of what you are seeing is Nigerian made. Most of what's around you. So for the past 23 years, we have been developing local capacity in delivering projects and buildings and estates of international taste and finishing quietly. So we've developed suppliers in every area of what we use locally. And we are now looking to scale everybody up. Many of our suppliers and many of our contractors have scaled up already. So I needed to give you that background and also to share with you my frustration. Now, so for the past 23 years, we have been building and delivering projects, right? And the financing architecture in Nigeria does not allow me, the CEO of Design Union, to be able to afford any unit that I'm building. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Answer me now. Can you believe what I'm telling you? You can't believe it. How can the CEO of Design Union not be able to buy any of his units? I'll tell you why. Because I have a salary, right, that the company pays me. And my salary cannot buy any of my units in the amount of time I am requiring others to buy it. So because when we develop, you have to pay in 12 months or 18 months, maximum 24 months. If the salespeople talk, we say, okay, 24 months, no problem. But beyond 2 years, you have to have finished paying. And I'm asking myself, if you, Tony, you yourself, if you can't pay, how can you ask other people to pay? So that was one frustration I had. The second issue I continue to have, is that the new generation, like my children, my first two children, for example, are out of school and they are working, right? And I'm expecting them, because I don't expect my children to live outside Nigeria. Sorry, but I just don't. I don't believe that. Because I lived in America for 11 years. I was never settled there. It's not a place to live, honestly. And it would be so tragic if my children go and stay in that place.
A lot of people disagree.
I know, don't worry, disagree with me. I'm just telling you my own frustration. Right? Now, but my question to myself was, if my children are coming back, or if they are to come back to Nigeria, if me, their father, cannot afford a home that people are developing, how do I expect them to expect a future here? Because as a young man in America, I was able to buy a house as a student, because I was able to get a mortgage. Today, mortgages are over 24% interest per annum. How's that going to work? If I sell you a 100 million naira house, right, and you go and take a mortgage, every year your interest is 24 million naira. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So for years, for the past, I would say between 12 to 13 years, I've been trying to solve this problem. Myself and the finance people at Design Union, we've been trying to solve this problem. So we've put together think tanks, we've brought economists in, we've brought bankers, we've brought mortgage bankers, everybody to discuss this problem. How can we get single mortgage for Nigerians? How can we cut down the issue, the cost of people paying interest to finance their homes. Well, it turns out that because of inflation, which is double digit in Nigeria, and worse still, because of devaluation, a single digit naira loan or financing is impossible. They cannot do it. We cannot do it. Nobody can do it. Right?
Yeah.
So at one point we tried to buy a mortgage bank. We saw that if we bought a mortgage bank and started giving mortgages, we would be in the same boat as those who are already in the business. There is no way to do it well. So this is where we're coming from. So this is the background to Savetown being birthed. Now, what is Savetown? It's very simple. Savetown is a save-to-own scheme. We get you to put money aside every month, every quarter, or however it's convenient for you. And here's the issue. This is why the bar is a little bit high. As you are saving, we don't use your money to build. We don't risk your money. We leave your money with the trustee. But because we are aggregating people that are buying, so in other words, we can see those who are going to buy the houses, right? Because of that, and because we have been able to build equity we have housing stock independent of your money. We have housing stock. So because we have housing stock and we're able to aggregate you as future homeowners, we can finance housing ourselves. But you are saving in dollars. So any money you give us in any currency, whether you are saving in CDs or Naira or whatever, Savetown is a dollar saving scheme. We are saving your money in dollars. What does this do for us and for you? Number one, your money will not lose value over time, as you say. You can withdraw it, you can leave at any time. But because we have a collective of people saving and we have housing stock going on, we won't really miss you if you collect your money, because there are many people that are saving. Now, against your savings, we can now finance the housing. And because it's a dollar saving, when Naira is devalued, the inflation effects on the local currency does not affect us. So we will continue to build housing with our equity and with our financing while you continue to save. Now, when does your saving get triggered? When you get up to 70% of your target unit, we can download your money with your consent. We'll download your money, and at that point, you can move in to your unit or whatever. That's when the transaction gets consummated. So what Savetown effectively is doing is to remove that financial institution from the middle between the buyer and the builder. So instead of using your money to run a massive overhead and to run people that are buying SUVs all over the place and creating bank branches and everything and all that overhead, your money is actually going towards saving, towards building a home for you. So all that fat in the middle is being cut out. So that's Savetown.
Okay, before we go ahead and before we continue,
Right.
please, we're going to take questions after this segment, so you can prepare your questions, probably write them down while I engage in. So thank you so much for that. So what are the challenges that you have faced in the business since inception so far, since Savetown has started? What are the challenges that you have faced in building the business?
Okay, the major challenge we faced is that no one has done this. So we had to convince the bank, right, to participate, to come in with us. That was that actually has been the major challenge. On the supply side, which is delivering the homes, we've had time to solve that problem. I mean, that's our bread and butter. That's what we do every day. So we don't have an issue there. But creating that architecture, the issues of regulation, the issues of banking that currency, the issues of just being comfortable with what we're doing has been the biggest hurdle, because we work with Stanbic Bank, and all of you know Stanbic doesn't send, right? They are very, very strict. They are very, very, terrible when it comes to regulations and all that. So that has been our biggest challenge.
Okay, so that means you're like the main players in this kind of business right now. There are not too many competitors so far.
Too many competitors. Once again, I always like to be respectful.
I'm not be proud.
Yes, I don't want to say we are the only ones, or we know that our own works. Do you understand? We know our own works. We know that we have housing stock. Housing stock means that if you want a 2-bedroom today in Victoria Island, or you want a 2-bedroom in Lekki, or a 3-bedroom, I will not tell you stories. I would just, one of our salespeople are here. They will just take you there. They will just open the flat and you will see it, and you pay and you enter. So,
Interesting.
so it's not. We have housing stock.
Yeah. Okay. So, what's your opinion on the future of real estate in Nigeria? I mean, you've been doing this for so long. Like,
Yeah.
what's the future of real estate in Nigeria right now?
So maybe I'm the wrong person to ask. You know why?
Why?
Because I'm very optimistic about Nigeria. So anything you ask me about Nigeria, I will tell you the opportunity, and you will invest immediately. So real estate in Nigeria. What do I think about real estate in Nigeria? I think it's the greatest opportunity on earth. I don't think there's greater opportunity anywhere, to be honest with you. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because one is that we have a very talented population that you can easily train to build well. Right?
Yeah.
We have very smart people who I believe can do anything. If you want us to go to the moon now, we'll go as Nigerians. Oh yeah, we'll do it. We'll sort it out. It's not an issue. But look at the building conditions in Nigeria, right? We don't have earthquakes.
Yeah.
We don't have snow.
We're grateful to God.
We don't have mudslides, right?
Basically, all these natural things don't happen here in Nigeria.
Right? So designing and building here is pleasant. If you've lived in America like I have lived, right? For 6 months of the year, you can't. When you go to site, you freeze.
Right.
I remember my first assignment as a young architect in America. It was to go and do. We were replacing the roof of a school, just the roof, So myself and my oga, we went to the roof to go and measure the roof and take notes. And it was winter. And I just come from Nigeria. And I was wearing this thick coat. And the man was asking me to take notes. And I couldn't write because my hands were frozen.
Yeah.
Right? But we don't have that here. Now, do we have that here? Do we have that here?
We don't. So blessed.
So it's a clement place to work. I find Nigeria a clement place to work. We have excellent wood. We have excellent stones.
Yeah.
Right? We have good water to mix cement. There are some places where you have salt water. Like I built for Access Bank in Zambia. They don't have water in Zambia. There are some places you go, they get salt water. And if you use it to mix your concrete, it just dissolves.
So how are you able to carry out the project?
You buy water.
From Zambia?
Yeah, you buy water locally. So they have good water.
So they import water?
No. They have, you have to find it. There are places where you find it. But it's not everywhere. So water is a big deal in that place.
Wow.
So Nigeria is so blessed. Now, I know that there are difficulties, right? Our biggest problem is ourselves.
Definitely.
So all the things that have to do with human beings in the development process are the problem. For example, approvals.
Yeah.
In Lagos State, that's a big problem.
In Nigeria as a whole.
No, approvals are not difficult in many places.
In Nigeria?
Yeah, in Nigeria. Approvals is Lagos that has a problem in Nigeria.
Wow.
Then you also have community issues. It's the people that create the problem, right? You have contractors that will take your money and run away. It's people problem. So
I
the
think people
challenges we
don't.
have, even financing, is people problem. It's the people in charge of finance. It's the government people that we put there that are chopping the money. It's the people that own banks that use the money for all their own to feather their own nest and declare these great profits and all that. So our problem in Nigeria is the people.
I was going to say that generally the major problem in Nigeria is the people.
It's the people.
Forget the government and all those ones.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe I speak the mind of people when I ask this. How do you vet people that want to subscribe to Savetown, like financial capabilities of people? I know because it sounds very interesting right now. It sounds mouth-watering.
Yeah.
So, as a business owner, how do you vet people's financial capabilities? Because I know you say we save in dollars,
Yeah.
right, to own a home, and I know that to get like a very decent home, I mean, from the range of like $100,000 or
Yes.
thereabouts.
Hello?
How do you vet? Can
I
you
can't
guys?
hear anyone. I don't know if it's my network.
Can you hear me now?
Muted.
Can you hear me now?
Are we muted again?
Please unmute.
Please unmute.
By your network. I'm pinging them now. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
I have questions too, please. I mean, let me know when I can speak, please.
Yes,
Okay.
we'll take the virtual question. So my question is, how do you vet people's financial capabilities when they want to buy a home? Is there like a process?
So the good thing about Savetown is that the only people we don't want are people we cannot verify your source of income. That's the only money we don't want. When we cannot verify the way you make your money, we don't want your money, right? But if you make your money genuinely and you can only save maybe $200 a month, $300 a month, we will take your money because we believe in you. We believe that someday you'll be able to make up. And if for any reason you change your mind, you can always take your money, right?
Oh, so you can opt out in the middle of like.
Yes, you can opt out. You can opt out. It's flexible. You can opt out.
Oh,
right? The only place where we take you seriously and opting out is a little bit more difficult is when you get to 70%. Because by the time you get to 70%, the funds that you have put in have been committed to housing. Do you understand?
Okay.
So you pay a little bit of a higher penalty, but you can always opt out even at 70%.
Oh, okay. So there's a penalty when you get to 70%.
There's a penalty, but it's graduated. It is only when it gets to 70% that is significant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe that we are gathering our questions right now. So if you have questions, you can just really signify so that the microphone will be passed to you, right? Okay, I'll take a question shortly. So one more question, sir.
Yeah.
These areas that you have properties, are they limited to the areas that you have property right now? So let's say I want to subscribe. Can I choose an area of choice, or it has to be where State Town has properties?
So you are limited to our portfolio.
Okay.
You are limited to our portfolio. Now, today is day zero. On day zero, we have properties in Victoria Island, in Lekki, on the mainland Lagos, and Eco Atlantic City on day zero, right?
Okay.
What we envision that this portfolio will grow because we will also acquire other property as our subscriber base is expanded. But
Okay.
because we are providing housing for a lot of people, we cannot live. If for example, Auntie says, "I want a house in Jos," and she starts paying her $1,000 every month, right? I can't, because of her now, right? Go to Jos and start a whole development.
Okay.
What we may be able to do eventually, and this is not today, but I envisage a situation where if that arises, right, we can actually go to Jos and try to find her a house when she gets to 70%. You know what I mean? So we may not be the ones building it, but we may be able to look for a unit there
Like
because we have her money.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll allow the audience to take questions now. So please just signify so I can come to you when you have a question. Please be audible so that our virtual audience can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Joshua Inu. And this is a very interesting solution. I mean, I have three questions, and I will try not to be that person that keeps asking questions over and over again. So my very first question is, what's the difference between Savetown and mortgage bank?
Okay, so very quickly, first of all, Savetown doesn't charge you interest rate on buying a home.
Okay.
Second of all, in a mortgage situation, they lie to you that you own the house on day one. Please, you don't. Right? You don't own it. The only difference is that you can move in on day one in mortgage. On Savetown, you cannot move in till 70% saving. So that's a big difference between Savetown and traditional mortgage.
That kind of dovetails into my second question, right? When you save in it's usually accumulated interest, right? So in a situation where you're making, I don't know if you know this, but in a situation where you're making a monthly payment of $100 for the cost of 6 months, that's $6,000, right? Is there a return at the end of that will go into my savings?
Yes. So the way you gain, right, in saving on Savetown is that you gain on the property value at the end. So if, for example, you are saving towards $100,000 home in the next 5 years, whereas you will get it for 100,000, that home is 130,000. So if you were to save your money independently and come to us in 5 years' time, one, you will pay much more than those who have been with us. Two, you will be at the back of the queue.
Okay. My last question is, what is the minimum monthly payment and what is the maximum for drink?
So right now we are trying to just get people to save, to get into that habit of saving. So we are saying that you can save $200 a month, you can save $100 a month, as a minimum. Now, if you look at the speed of saving before you can get a $100,000 home, you will see that your outlook is maybe like 12 years, 15 years, that kind of thing. So we are making it flexible such that, because we are not paying you interest on your saving, it is to your advantage to save quickly to get a home.
Right.
Do you understand? So if you save slowly, if your money is little, we will not bother you. Because your presence, because we are using your money, right? So it's in your interest to save quickly and get a home. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
So there's no penalty for saving slowly.
Okay, so there's no minimum monthly.
There's no minimum. There's really no minimum.
Okay. That's it for me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody? Okay.
Okay, my name is Adafri. So just to check from the last thing you said, when you started it, you said all funds are going to be warehoused in a trust. And then you went further to say that you already have the stock that is somewhere. And the trust is running independently of the stock you already have.
Yes.
Now you are saying that we are already using your money as a follow-up of what you are saying.
Yes.
I'm finding it difficult to reconcile those two statements. That's number one.
Okay.
Then number two, you said you won't have access to your house until you have achieved 70%.
Yes.
Now, what point in that saving timeline will you start developing the stock you are saving towards?
Okay. All right. Thank you for that statement. So when I say we are using your money to develop, right? It is the presence of your money that allows me to raise finance to build. You understand? Because my agreement with the trust is that they don't download the money until you get to 70%. But the fact that you are saving there and your speed of saving, I can see you. Do you understand what I'm saying? I have visibility of your saving pattern and the fact that you are working towards a 2-bedroom house in Yaba, for example. You understand? And that your target is to have saved $70,000 in the next 7 years. So you're saving $10,000 a year. That's about maybe $800 a month or $900 a month, something like that. I can see that target. Because I can see that target, and because you are my customer, I can finance that. Do you understand? So that's why I said using your money. Yes. What's the second part of it again? So what we are constantly doing at Savetown is to watch the demand. Because when you are saving on the platform, you see the you see the areas that we actually are developing. You will see where the housing stock is on day one. So based on your demand, if for example, let's say in Victoria Island today I'm developing 50, say 2-bedroom units, right? And then on Savetown, 60 people say, we want 2 bedrooms in Victoria Island. I can see. And those 60 people, I know they're going to be ready in 5 years, right? So I have time to add. I know that my stock is not going to be enough in 5 years. So I will start another development that contains enough to satisfy my customers in that time. Because in Savetown, because I have time to see the demand, I can keep tweaking my housing stock to match the maturity as it comes on stream.
Okay. Patience, I see your hand on the call raised. We'll get to you shortly. Okay? We'll get to you shortly.
Okay, thank you. My questions are follow up to questions they both asked. My name is Emmanuel, by the way.
Okay.
Question number one is, what is the duration to complete the payment of the 30% balance? So because you said once you hit 70%, then it is activated.
Is someone speaking?
Yeah, somebody is speaking.
I think it's muted again.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'm sure you can hear me now. So you save up to 70% and it is activated. Just like you said, you can move into the stock. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Right. So what is the duration it is expected for a client to complete the 30% that is outstanding? That's question one. And two, you said the money does not yield interest.
Yes.
So in that incubation period from 0 to 70%,
Yes.
what happens to that fund?
Okay.
If you could speak to that. I want to assume also, because depending on this question, the answer you give to the second question, maybe I will have asked, why do you have to pay a penalty if you were to opt out? Assuming your money was yielding interest, but you said it doesn't yield interest. And I'm asking, why incubate my money for a period of time and I'm to opt out, you said it doesn't yield interest. So, why pay penalty? Sorry.
Okay.
Lastly, I think that would be a general.
If you don't mind.
Don't worry. Don't worry. He gets all of them. From a business model perspective, right? You're creating a value. What value really is there for Savetown?
Okay.
For what all the investment.
Thank you very much. So, the first question you asked is, when you get to 70%, right, what's the tenure of the remaining 30%? Don't forget, you already had a rhythm. Because what happens is that when you get to 20%, we give you a payment plan. So it is when you get to 20% of your intended unit that we consider you a depositor. Before 20%, we just call you a happy saver. You're just a happy saver, right? So at 20%, we give you a payment plan, depending on what you want. If you want 7 years, you get a 7-year payment plan. If you want 10 years, you get a 10-year payment plan. So your payment plan is already determined to 100%. So at 70% is the same payment plan. You just continue on that payment plan until you get to 100%. So that's one. Your second question, I believe, you asked, how come we are saying that you don't get interest, right, on your money? Okay. So Savetown cannot be completely free like that now, right? No, it cannot. Don't forget that there is inflation even in dollars. And we are holding your price for you. So when we sign up for a price now, it's the same price we are giving you in 5 years until there's any kind of revision. So the interest on your money is what Savetown uses to hedge the prices, right? Your third question said, that's how does Savetown make the money? How does Savetown make money? Or good, because we don't want, Savetown is not a money laundering scheme. We don't want you bringing in money and taking it out. Savetown is for those who want housing. And Savetown encourages long-term savings. That's why there's a penalty when you take out your money after 20%. Before 20%, I don't think there's a penalty. Am I right? Am I correct? Before 20%? No, yes. Before 20%, there's no penalty for taking your money out. But once we consider you a depositor, because don't forget, once you're a depositor, right, it is based on your being a depositor that we now start to finance the construction. So we are making commitments to giving you a house in, however, the tenure that we have agreed. So it's based on that we go and make commitments. So that's why you get a penalty to discourage you from opting out, because we have made long-term commitments on your behalf. All right. Okay, you're on, Patience.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Patience. I'm sorry, I'm actually driving, but manage the background noise. So, first of all, I want to get more clarity. Well, according to what you've been saying, is that what you are going to give us for those house or the homes, they are going to be in dollars. Then while we are paying, we convert our naira into dollar equivalent to know how much we are paying monthly or we can pay monthly, right? And then I want to ask that what window would you be using to calculate our dollars? And what impact would dollar or naira devaluation have on us? Because we are getting naira. The way I'm looking at this scale, I don't know if I should call it a scale or package. I think it will be nice for those who live abroad. I mean, the people in diaspora, because they earn in dollars, but we are earning in naira. So how do we guide against the naira continuous decline? You understand? Naira
Okay.
does not appreciate. Also, the homes that you want to build. At what point can we know the type of home we are actually subscribing to? The model of house, if it is semi-detached or a duplex or just story building and we are buying off an apartment. Secondly, and thirdly, can we have your rates, the rate of your homes that we are about to subscribe to before we conclude if we are interested or not? Thank you.
Okay. Do you want to take that first one, the conversion rate, how we determine that? You want to answer that, E?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can take that. I can take that. So because the scheme is in dollars, right? We use the open market rates, right? So whatever the rate that we will be able to get on the open market, that will be the rates we use, especially now that the dollar has been the rate has been liberalized, right? So that's sort of the model. The good thing about it is that, like I said, or like Uncle Tony said, what's good about the whole plan is that we fix the price, and what that means generally is that even if, quote unquote, the value of the home or the value of that area has gone up, say, you would still get sort of, quote unquote, the price frozen for the period of time that you have it. For everybody that's subscribing to the program, right? I mean, if you can only imagine building maybe in a place like Lapa 7 years ago, right, and getting a price for a house from 7 years ago, right? That's how you should think about it, the core value. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Okay, let me just add that we have a 5-year fixed tenure for the pricing. So what we expect is that every 5 years, there will be a slight adjustment in the pricing based on what the dollar inflation is doing generally. You can't, because we don't know whether you are going to be there for 15 years. We don't know if you're going to slow down your savings. So, but every 5 years, there will be a general price adjustment across the board, because that's what we see. After having built for the past 23 years, we notice that there is a dollar inflation. So what you built in dollars, for example, in 2000 and this is 23 now, in 2013, which is 10 years ago, even in dollars, you cannot bill for that amount now. You cannot. So, but it's not the same in naira. In naira, it's a magnitude of maybe like times 5. But in dollars, it's something like maybe about 3.5% a year or so in terms of adjustment. So that's the first question you asked. Patience, you asked 3 questions, right? I hope we've answered I hope we've answered the first one. I think another question you asked was the matter of
the 5 years review period.
Yes.
Is it upward or downward? I don't understand what that. Are we going to have it in a clause to say this package of being
now
due at the end of 5 months and years?
So if the dollar has strengthened in 5 years, right? Yes, in theory it could be downward, in theory, but historically it has never happened. For economies that are here, has value ever gone? It's never gone that way, right? There's always inflation, but the good thing is that in dollars, right? So you also asked a question about your currency, and one of the key advantages of Savetown is that because we are converting your local currency on the day that you deposit it in Savetown, whatever happens to the naira, you have saved dollars. So that's an advantage of the scheme, is that every payment you put into the scheme is being saved into a currency that doesn't devalue as fast. So that's an advantage. I think that was your second question. I think I also remember that you asked, will you be aware of the kind of unit you are subscribing to? And the answer is yes. You will be able to choose the type of unit and the location that you're interested in before we can send you a payment plan. Because a 2-bedroom in Eco Atlantic and a 2-bedroom in Ilupeju are not the same rate. Though we build the same quality everywhere. What really varies the price is the cost of the land. And unless it's outside Lagos. Outside Lagos, believe it or not, outside Lagos is a little bit more expensive to build than Lagos, because most things come from Lagos. But in terms of what we do, the standard is, the building cost is fairly standard. Use fairly much the same standard of finishing in most of the housing that we do. So, Patience, have we answered your questions?
I think our last question.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, somebody was speaking here.
Hi. So, trying to conceptualize the question to be more polite, and secondly, as precise as possible.
Sorry, just one more answer I need to dispel. Savetown is not a property developer. I want you to understand that. We are not a property development company. We are actually a housing finance company. Therefore, Savetown will not take construction risk. I want you to understand that. The only reason Design Union can back Savetown is that Design Union has equity in housing. It has housing stock. And Savetown is simply buying the housing from Design Union. I want you to understand that. Savetown is not a property developer. So I'll give you our next tier of growth, for example, in housing stock, right? So our financiers also have housing stock. Somebody's going to guess who they are. Can you guess who those are? Just guess. It's a bank, exactly. Well, I'm not going to tell you the bank. There are a few. But banks have housing stock. Do you know that? So once the subscription gets to a point where you are now getting to Design Union's limit, because Design Union has a limit. Right now, I think for us, we can only produce maybe about 500 units a year, right? And if we scale up, maybe 1,000, 2,000 units a year, right? And we may not want to scale up beyond that. But when you have demand that is beyond that, so we have financiers who have stock of housing that we can now start allocating. Does that make sense? So Savetown is not a property developer. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Seems to be similar to a REIT, but we also know of real estate. So a REIT, sorry, is a real estate investment trust.
Yeah.
We know of UAC tried one and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
So how is Savetown different?
Okay, thank you very much. So a REIT, a real estate investment trust, actually is like a mutual fund. It's like a mutual fund. But the assets held in a REIT are real estate assets that usually will cash flow. So you would either, it would be a rental or it would be a hotel. It's something that cash comes from every month, right? So that's what a REIT is supposed to be. Savetown is not a REIT. Savetown, if you look the fact from housing finance, it's also, the object is also to remove the effect of local currency devaluation on housing, which is our major threat right now. Yeah.
Okay, so virtual listeners, please, if you have a question, just signify by raising your hand, and then we'll take your question.
Okay. Hi everyone. So apparently I'm that guy that keeps asking questions. Forgive me.
Please feel free.
So I have a couple more.
Okay.
So there is the NHF, right? That
The National Housing Fund.
yes,
Nigerian
that
Housing
once
Fund.
you've worked for a couple of years, you can access a certain amount of money.
Okay.
Is there a way that Savetown is integrated with them so that that allocation can be used as a deposit?
My answer to you is absolutely not.
Wow. Why?
NHF is a failure. It's a complete failure because it has government. Are there government people here? I don't want to offend anybody.
It's okay. You will understand. You know, because for someone like myself, I've been working for over a decade, right?
Yeah.
And I should be able to access that.
NHF, right?
And I have not been able to access this. I have land, but I can't even collect money to build on.
Exactly.
So but the money is still there. It hasn't
You hope it is.
they haven't stolen everything. My own share is still there. Okay, so no, just to answer that.
Okay.
Another question I wanted to ask is, as much as we are focused on building here in Nigeria, right? The global real estate market has moved to countries like Dubai. Is there a situation where we can repurpose or redirect our savings towards the Dubai property, not so that we can live there, but so that it can generate income?
Okay. You know your generation are very creative. So I'm sure somewhere along the line, Kule and his people will figure out a way to do that. But my primary focus is on you, who has been working for 10 years and cannot buy a home. If we can solve that problem first, I can assure you that Savetown will solve the world's mortgage problem. Because we have the numbers, we have the people in Nigeria, we have the housing stock if we're determined to create it, right? And funny enough, we have the finance. We have the finance. Our pension funds, I mean, it's a great pool of money, right?
Yeah.
But we can't tap it yet, right? But I'm telling you, a time will come when Savetown will create a straw to that money, I can assure you. That's right, brother. Yes. Yeah, so for now, our focus is to solve our problem. Let us solve our problem first. And then the kind of things you're talking about can happen. But it's so terrible that, do you know that the average graduate now in America and in the UK cannot buy a house? Because they can't make the 20% down payment, even 10%. Where are they going to see it? With the kind of student loans that they have? They even need support.
Yeah.
So this problem that we're trying, it's not just a Nigerian problem. Oh. For those who are considering, yeah, okay.
Okay, I think he has something to say. Do you have anything to say to that? Because you were pretty much interested in what you asked.
Do you have something to say? Okay, no, not really.
I think he does have something to say.
You're muted.
No, he isn't muted, but we can hear him.
Oh, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
I think it's from our end. They are looking into.
Can those on the call hear me?
Now we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
You're on now.
Okay. So I just wanted to say that, I mean, that was a great question, the one about whether you'll be able to propose it. And I think the long-term vision for Savetown is really that you can once more turn housing into a real asset, right? For a very long time, it's been a financial instrument, and that's what you're seeing in the US with like mortgage-backed securities and all this stuff. But imagine when housing is a real asset, and really what I'm excited about that is like, you know, I think that there's a whole bunch of, because young people these days are looking to live in completely different cities from the ones their parents lived in. They don't want suburbia, they want to live downtown and all that. The beautiful thing about a platform like Savetown is that in the future, it will make it easy for you to trade in your home. Whether you want to trade up for a different home or you want to trade across, because you actually only own the home, right? And it's always cash backed, right? As opposed to backed by, you know, paper securities. I just wanted to add that, you know, I'm really, I think that in the future, once we conquer Nigeria and get a lot of people, like, because your home is in dollars, you actually can exchange it for a home somewhere else. I don't know if that makes sense.
Did we get that?
Last question, I promise.
Okay, go ahead. Thanks.
So my next question is, when is the first project going to commence, right? And I'm assuming that a hold on that would be the numbers to encourage that commencement to begin.
Did you say when is the first project going to commence?
Yes.
Which project?
So if I was to sign up for Savetown at the moment, right?
Yeah.
And I want to buy $100,000 house.
Yes.
Right? Are there home stocks as of right now that we can buy into?
That's what we're telling you.
Oh, okay.
So in our pipeline now, today, in our pipeline, we have about 1,200 units now in our pipeline.
Okay.
Right. So moving ready, we have under 10 that you can move in now. Maybe 10 to 15 apartments you can move in now.
Right.
Ready in the next 6 months, maybe another 50.
Okay.
Ready in the next 12 months, let's say between 12 to 24 months, about 156.
Okay.
Ready in the next, so we are targeting 1,200 in the next 4 years in our pipeline today.
Right.
So the land is there, some are ready, some are under construction, so there are real sites we're actually building.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like we're going to. Okay, let me not say anything. Please, your question.
Good evening, everyone. Tell me my name. My question is around the fluidity around the subscription. So, if I subscribe for something, let's say $100,000 worth of property, and for some reason I choose to move to something around 50,000 or move upward, what is the 50,000? Hasn't going down but going up above my initial subscription plan. What is the fluidity around it in such a way that you can make that kind of decision?
Okay, the fluidity around changing your property that you're saving towards, the magic is 70%. Before 70%, it's a little bit easier to change. But you know, once you're at 70%, it's like you're already pointing to your property, right? So it becomes less flexible, but before 70%, it's more flexible. It's just take it as flexible. I can't give you a percentage now to say, you know, if you're on a 100,000 home and you want to go to 200,000 home, the likelihood is so much percent. I mean, it's not possible for me to give you that statistic now. But the intention is not to stifle you, because don't forget, we will always have more subscribers than we have homes. That's how the model works. When we have 3,000 subscribers, we'll have 1,000 homes going on. That's how it works. So that's why we have some flexibility. We're not going to hold you to anything, because the reputation of the fund is very important. You understand what I'm saying? So we are going to be customer friendly, is what I mean.
So my question is this. I'm trying to think from the beginning to the end, from the part of risk of failure. You called Savetown a platform, right?
The risk of failure of who?
So just let me learn first, or get it clearly. So Savetown is kind of an aggregating platform, which is okay, as far as my understanding of the business model.
Yes.
Now, you are in turn in the transaction chain relating with another trustee. In case you fail as an entity, no entity is safeguarded from failure. Who do I do it? Savetown.
Okay.
Which entity do I do it to recoup my funds?
The Savetown.
But you're failed. Who's going to help me recoup my funds?
So if you look at the subscriber agreement, Savetown funds are being managed by Stanbic Asset Management. So your next level of recourse is Stanbic Asset Management.
Sorry, you not clearly spell out all those.
So you have to look at our terms and conditions to determine that as somebody who is saving on the platform. But it's a good question. But let me tell you, in terms of risk profile, right? So the company that sort of has birthed Savetown is Design Union, right? Okay. So Design Union has been in business. I challenge you to show me an industry in Nigeria that is riskier than real estate development and that has more business failures than this business. But Design Union has operated in Nigeria for 23 years and is yet to have one abandoned project. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that same company now is backing a housing aggregator, right? With a third-party regulated body to regulate the money. What do you think are the chances of that entity failing?
I agree, sir. But are you saying that Design Union is a guarantee sort of to Savetown? And then again, I will still speak from the dimension of risk. Anyone failed, not because it has been an opportunity to failed. Any business can fail. Maybe I was speaking from the finance dimension. I just want to know if Savetown fails, who do I fall back on? Good enough, you have said it's going to be clearly spelled out. But the process of recouping my funds, are they going to be spelled out like this is the person that I will meet? That's all.
Can I jump?
Sorry, one second. Yes, please go ahead. Go ahead.
So the risk of failure was actually designed into the program, which is why both Savetown and the developer don't have access to your money, until you exchange it for housing. So the only way that you actually lose your funds is if Stanbic fails, which is probably impossible, as far as impossible can go, right? So if Stanbic fails, absolutely, you have no claim. But if Savetown fails, it doesn't mean anything, because Savetown never had access to your money. So your money is still in Stanbic. And even Savetown can't give your money to everybody, except those who finished house. They are in the subscriber agreement and in our agreement with Stanbic, there are things we have to do to be able to get them to take money out. And one of those things is that they have to be finished.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Sorry. It's a dynamic business environment, and the question is still around this area. Okay. I've gone on like I was even expecting that maybe as we came here today, we'll have one or two things, maybe a little printout that we could refer to. I've gone online, to be honest, and I was trying to find out what can I find about Savetown. I haven't seen anything. The question here is, who is really the legal entity that I am dealing with? It's a bit convoluted, right? There is Design Union, there is Savetown, there is Stanbic IBTC, right? or the conversation largely has been around Savetown. I need to know, am I directly dealing with design union, even though, because there are risks we might not even anticipate right now. So from that perspective, maybe you may speak to that. Go on.
Yeah. Let me speak to that. You're dealing with same time exclusively, right? But again, we're unveiling the kimono because we understand trust and risk. So what SafeTime has done, okay. So what SafeTime has done is SafeTime has designed the product in such a way that even if SafeTime disappeared tomorrow, there's no risk to you and your funds and your savings. Even if the developer, which in the beginning case is design union, or any other developer we choose to use in the future, right, disappears, there is no risk to your funds, which is what happens with off-brand.
Yeah.
So a lot of what we're talking about has already exists, right? But what usually happens is that it's an off-brand program, and you're paying directly to the developer. And so if the developer disappears, your money disappears with the developer. In this particular circumstance, the money goes into a trustee. So when we look at it, it's actually going directly to Standard Asset Management. So the only risk in this business is if Standard Asset Management disappears. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, just to speak to that. So if my money is held by Stanbic Asset Management, right? That's investment, right? And you have told me times without number that there is no interest on it, there is no yield. So there are a few things I just think, few I's to dot, few T's to cross, um, just to really make me
So
feel
we're
at
not
home,
paying
right? Just to make me feel at home.
just to correct that impression. Just to correct that impression, there is yield, of course, but there is no yield to you, right? And the reason why we don't pay yield to you is because that's how we make the cost of construction lower, right? So think about it this way: because we do construction loan in a separate arrangement that has nothing to do with your money, we do sometimes have to take a lower interest, right? Typically, that's how it works, right? And that allows us to keep things kind of even. But we don't pay out interest. And the reason why we don't pay out interest is very simple, right? At the end of the day, there's supply constraint for housing. You know what I mean? Even if you had $150,000 today, right? The house you buy in 5 years would be would be worth more. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So that we're keeping the price fixed for you is part of the way the finance actually balances things out. I don't know if you get my point. So it's not that there is no yield. It is obviously yield, but there is no yield to the subscriber. Because the subscriber is supposed to be, we're not an investment entity, we're just trying to help you make sure you can get an affordable house while paying for it over a period of time. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you. So what I hear is these are all contractual terms going forward. It's not as though there is no yield, but
All contractual.
exactly, just to be clear.
Yeah.
There's no, these are all very, everything in this business is built around legal infrastructure that protects the subscriber. That's the magic of this business, right? It's not that we're doing anything. I mean, beyond the fact that we're dealing with parties that have existed forever, completely above board, we're using technology to do it, which actually makes it even better. What the magic of our business is the fact that everything is contractually laid out in such a way that there's no risk to you. So you can go and give your money to Lucky Gardens, right? Or you can give it to us and make sure that your savings are protected until you get your home. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay, so it's been a really engaging evening. So we'll take one more question and then
Over
we
here.
can.
You
Oh, you
said
have a
her hand
question
has
as
been up
well?
for some time.
Okay, we'll take his and then yours and
All right.
then because
All right, thank you. The name is Benga. So I think I might know the answer to the question, but I don't like assuming. So when it comes to this package, when it comes to things like reward or referral, is there any way of maybe getting some interest from that in the sense of converting it to whatever asset you may actually try to have? I don't know if I'm clear on that.
So,
Let
okay.
me share some.
Have that type of rest and know that their money is safe, because that borders around the question we've been asking since Is it my money disappear? Will it not disappear? So everything we are saying now is based off of because we are here. But someone that is outside that is looking at it and reading it and looking at it online will not see anything, just see safe town and think it's scam. I'm just saying. So if you could have like something like partnership showing that okay, Stanbic is partnering with us, your money in Stanbic asset, just that kind of marketing because we need to show that so that people can have that confidence. That's all.
Okay. Okay, that's I think that's noted. We'll work on that.
Okay, last question, and then we can round this off. Don't worry, there's enjoyment after this segment. I promise you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ozol Chris. The question I
Okay. So let's let me give you a sampling. So we have a few apartments in this building, for example. In this building, this is I don't know if you are familiar with this building, but this building is one of the top buildings in Victoria Island. Um, and we could probably get you into an apartment here for between $700,000 and up today. That's for the few apartments we have for sale here. Okay, we have a development now in Lekki that is ready, a two-bedroom there. You would pay something like $120,000 for a two-bedroom there today. We have another one going on the mainland, and the pricing is similar to the Lekki pricing. So where you are now, this is a different level of development, and we are not for our stock going forward. We're not really replicating the luxury end, which is the high end. That's not our focus anymore. So for this high end, for example, this flat that you're in now, I don't want to give you the price for this flat, for example, right? So we are not focusing on this high end going forward. We're focusing on units that are between $80,000 to $350,000. That's what 350,000, and most of those 350,000 ones are in Eco Atlantic. So the average will be between 100 and about 200. That's where we are. Sorry, sorry. After the video and just before we have dinner, could we just? We're actually supposed to open with a prayer, which we did not do. Can we just say a word of prayer after the demo before we eat, if you don't mind? Yeah, thank you, thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone. I am Robert from the customer service. So, first time customer subscribers website. So, this is the Savetown website. It explains what the product is about. So, here we have the home page. Let's tell you about products. We've already touched on major points. So I'm going to be showing you how to sign up. So right here, I'm going to my details. Okay, please do it. Alright, so here is my dashboard. I already signed up and applied a particular amount. So I'm going to be adding again. Let's say I want to add a new amount to my dashboard. So I press continue saving and I inputting my login details and I'll include the amount I want to add to my wallet. So here are the details. It's actually we are actually how to improve the website. The absence of all the questions. So they just this is the website as a whole.
Okay, so you heard it, you can engage him. It's definitely here. Anybody whose face is familiar so far, except me. Meet each other, let's network, let's eat, and then let's get this party started. Sorry, I'm a woman of prayer. I was just carried away.
Thank you very much. So, please, I'm around. Few members of our team are also around.
Yeah.
In case you want to make it to you will feel as well. I see some people have some questions.
Yeah, definitely.
What's in the word of prayer? By the way, you can also ask me questions because he was one of our I don't want to put it, one of the major people who found Nigeria and one of the people that stressed his business model. He's the CEO of AXA Advanced Health. He will also give you a discount. Oh my goodness.
Certainly, Savetown will be in short. So I'm sure that we have that to discover. And I think it's a very good thing. Maybe real estate people are not good marketers, and you are respected from fintech or banks, Islamic here, or if it is AXA, we have changed the company. So I think it's because they believe in more something that is something that can stop the country. Right? So you understand. But I think it's a very beautiful model, turning mortgage upside down. I think that's the whole idea. And we're in that environment where we need something to create a discipline to be able to have good assets over a period of time. So rather than saving that you bungled into and destroy it, you are able to save something that is going to last for a very long time. We miss something in the insurance side over a period of time. And if you have asked your parents or grandparents, maybe they work in UAC, they work in big companies in the past, they save into insurance. But by the time they wanted to liquidate, it became useless. How many of you had that experience? So what happened was the fact that Naira was 1 to 2 pounds in 1974, 1.5 pounds. So they were saving. By 1984, it has become 1 pound to about 10 Naira. By 2004, was 1 pound to about 125 Naira. In 2024, 23 is now 1 pound to 1,300. No, about 1,300. Now, so all the insurance elements, some are sure of 1 million naira then is like 1 million pounds. So, what is 1 million naira worth now? So then it becomes it's a very challenging one. So
advocated to say, let's start doing insurance in dollars. Let's be able to have some assurance in dollars, such a way that we can always match asset to liability, turn it around so that people can have their investments secure for a long time, even if they're going to transfer it to their beneficiary, whether their children, their wives, their spouses, and whatever it be. Now, what I see with the Savetown is another opportunity to be able to now turn your asset into more or less like a more stable currency, in which case it's able to save towards a particular point in time we have having mortgage. I think it's a very good one. I've marketed you first to my daughter to say, make your savings as a school. They said, Uncle Tony own a house as a student. You can start preparing to own a house. So when she started working as a student, I said, look, don't spend your money. Begin to save towards owning an asset. I said, Savetown is coming up. So they started saying that, yeah. When is it going to start? I'm saving my money. And I think that creates a lot of discipline. I'm not sure they can afford $200,000. I don't know whether that will take 20 years. But then at $100,000, I think the discipline of making sure that we do not waste our resources today, because easily we can squander that $500. But when we put it, I don't know whether you also have a product, a process that can make it a standing instruction. Don't wait for people to click that button every month. Just let them set it up so that it can deduct by itself. That will help to be able to ensure that the discipline is maintained, because all of us, there will always be a demand on our income from time to time. Even when you are promoted, once anybody knows you are promoted, there will be a lineup. It's a rule. All right. So, sorry, my job is not to do marketing. My job is to pray. Forgive me, because food is waiting for us. Why do we need to pray? Just to thank the Lord and also pray that this project will be possible. It's a very brilliant idea, innovation that I believe the people promoting it's a very great innovation. I believe it's an inspiration from God. It must last. If you have run design for 23 years, Savetown, I pray it will last more than 100 years until entire Nigerian people, they have enduring assets and become exportable to Africa, to developing countries, and we can say, yes, we own this idea, and it is actually solving problems all over the world. Not everything that is from abroad that is good. Everything that is also coming from Nigeria, many things we get out of Nigeria. Acquire over a period of time. We thank you for the innovation. Thank you for the whole inspiration to come up with this. Thank you for all the areas that they have put in place in order to make this work. We want to ask you, the Bible says, unless the Lord builds a house, the builder builds in vain. Unless the Lord watches over a city, the watchman watch in vain. I just want to ask you, Lord, you're the owner of heaven and earth. You own all assets, you own all properties. We ask that this idea will never become a failure. Let it solve human problems. The motivators have shown us that they are not, first and foremost, people who are greedy, looking for how to extort people. They want to solve problems. I want to pray, oh God, at no time will this idea become a Ponzi scheme. It will run and solve housing problems among Nigerians for Nigerians. It will also give us very good protection, good brand image, that everywhere they hear about what we have done, they will just begin to run to us so that we can also export it. Father, we ask, oh God, all the subscribers, you will protect them. They will be able to have their job secure, and regular income sufficient to be able to own a home over a period of time. We pray, oh God, that you will give us not only not only good houses, but you also good homes. Every subscriber will also have a testimony that they have a home, such that their lives are much better. Thank you, Lord, for this evening, and I ask that you will bless every participant, those who are here now online, and those who are also going to come in there, that everybody will have a good testimony. Thank you, Lord Jesus, and Lord, I pray when there will be final home, the final asset for every human being to spend their eternity, because you said to us, you said, I'm going to prepare a home for you, and when I finish prepare it, I'll come and pick you. I pray, oh God, everyone will have access to also have this eternal home.
Amen.
And secure our life assets in holy eternal home.
Amen.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you,
In Jesus' name we are praying.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Amen. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we can proceed to interacting with one another and eating, of course. Thank you so much.